Hi, my name's Amanda Trout, and welcome to Reality Arts Podcast. Each week, I will bring you a different insight and inspiration about art, creativity, and arts in health. Join me as we step out of our comfort zones, unwrap those hidden gems, and move forward in our creative purpose. You're listening to Reality Arts, helping you to increase your creativity and unlock your hidden talents. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today is day 4 of the bonus Stepping Out challenge. So I'm taking part in a 31-day challenge on my blog where I post every day, and I thought I would share insights and information here on the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about the second part of the challenge that I did called 31 Art Studio Essentials, where I shared 31 different supplies and tools and materials that I use on a day-to-day basis in my art studio. I might not use them every single day, all of them together, but for that month, I would probably use or call on some of them. Anyway, so yesterday I looked at the necessity for not only spending time every day in an art practice, but to work with what you have and spend time. I mean, this is really important. Spend time getting to know your supplies. You get so much more from your supplies when you know how they work with other supplies, other materials, whether you use water, whether you use a gel medium, or whatever it is that you're going to use with your supplies. Getting to know all the ins and outs. Is it permanent? Sometimes it says permanent, but you might need to fix it with something, or just get to know it, and you can only do that by playing. So for those people who are starting out, I mean, you don't even have to be starting out, but this might be you. If I describe it, it might be you. Anyway, you have to resist wanting to purchase every single art supply that you can get your hands on. Now, is that you? Is there something new come out and you think, I've got to have it? It's tempting, I know, because I've done it. And I used to get this, I don't even know what it was. It was this inner urge that was driving me, and I would see a particular supply, and it's just the look of it, just the description, and the feeling wouldn't stop until I had pressed the buy now button on Amazon, because I would get most of my stuff on Amazon. And sometimes you'd see, the discounts, or wherever it is, wherever you shop, or whether you go out to the art supply store and you see all these lovely new things that you think, oh my gosh, they just have to come home with me. But once the item came, there was, initial excitement, but then it left, and then I stored the thing away. And I think what it was is that I hadn't given myself time to play with the supply. It was just like I expected that I was going to be able to use them and be expert at them and create these wonderful imagery. And it was just like, but I know I can draw, I know I can paint. But what is it with these supplies? Oh, there must be something faulty with them. And it wasn't that. It was just that you have to get used to anything that you bring in, and you have to then incorporate it into the style that you have. So there are several things that you can do, and especially if you're on a budget, if you've got the money. And now I would still say, even if you've got the money, that you still take your time to see if you like a supply. There's no point in buying all these supplies and them just sitting there and then going to waste. As I spoke about yesterday in the post, they go to waste, they dry up, and they're not any use for anybody. So there are a few things that you can do. One of the things that you can do is to find a fellow artist and say do a swap. They might have a particular supply that you're thinking about buying, so it's worthwhile checking with them. If you can try it and see if you've got something that they'd like to try, and then you can make an informed decision, a better informed decision, rather than just going by the description and the image on your computer. There are also companies that give away supplies. You could contact the company that makes the particular supply that you're thinking of purchasing, and see if they send you a sample. There's one that I know that have sent me, over the years, they've sent me a couple of things, and this is Adorn. And I had originally brought the Inktense pencils. That's one of my favorite supply, the Inktense pencils. And I really wanted to try their art bars, but again, it wasn't in my budget. I didn't know anybody at the time that had them. And I don't even think, I think I just joined their mailing list, and that was one of the supplies they sent. They sent me 6 art bars, and I was able to try it before I buy them. And they sent me these years ago, and I've still got them. I've still got the supplies because they sent you full bars, and it was just like, isn't that great? That's a great thing to have. And then they had another art bars, and they sent me a set of 6 of those, and it was just like, they last a really long time. This is not a review, and I'm not being paid for this anyway. So it's worthwhile seeing if the company that you buy your supply from is doing are giving away samples. You can also check to see whether there is a sale on, or there are discount codes that you can use. For some people, especially if you live in the States and you go to Michael's, they usually do like half price off, or a particular price off, or 50% off your total shop. And so you can wait for those discount codes and then use that to then buy the products that you want to buy for a reduced cost. There also may be things around your home that can double up as art supplies, and you might be able to save some money by, say, making your own journals or stencils, even stamps. And in one of my videos on my YouTube channel, I spoke about how you can make your art journals by using by using the directories that they have. I've gone to your local department store, and the paper that they use is really nice. It's quite thick paper, and if you even combine 2 pages together, just glue them together, it gives you a really nice surface to work on, to collage on, etc. And I'll leave a link in the description for some of the videos that I placed on the blog, or go to the blog and you will see some of the videos that I've included especially for the altered directories. So it's taken me quite a while to know the different mediums I like, and that has only come through practice, through use, through playing, through spending time. And I realised over the years that I had many favourite mediums, and through experimenting became confident in using these variety of mediums together. And it's, as I say, it's only through trying them out that I realised that, hey, I brought some jewellery supplies, but I actually like using, not necessarily to make jewellery, I mean I do make jewellery, but for myself, but I like using them in the textile work that I do, and I like painting on textiles, and the combination between textiles, painting and jewellery, I really like that effect. I also go through phases where I only want to just use one particular medium. So a while back, I just wanted to do clay work. But then I found it was just like, as I was doing this clay work, I thought, no, something's missing. I love seeing clay. I love seeing sculptures and things, but I like combining my clay with fabric, and I like the way that material, the effects that you can get with different materials, and I like adding jewelry to these clay fabric pieces. So when you experiment, you can come up with some exciting combinations and surprises that just kind of fit together. So working on this challenge now over these it's not been 30 days yet. This is, as I say, it's day 4, but it's enabled me to look at my materials in a different way. And it's vital that you give yourself time with your supplies and get to know them. And I've discovered with supplies that I had brought that I didn't do any of the points, such as check to see if a friend had them, or could I try them out. I just went out and brought them. So learning the hard way meant that some of my supplies just went hard, dried out, and I wasn't able to use them. And this is also quite a pricey way to do it. And what you have to do, or what I should have done, because I brought some pastels and they were quite expensive. It was just like I saw them online and I thought, oh my goodness. It said soft pastels and it had the colours, and the colours were so rich and beautiful. And what I should have done was start off with a smaller. I didn't have to buy 24. It was just like, was there just one or two that I could gone out and buy individual? And that's actually another point. Don't necessarily go out and buy a 24, 72 or 156 set of supplies. Maybe there's just, you can buy them singly, and then that will save you money. But so I brought these pastels, and when they arrived, I started using them, and I thought, oh my goodness, they're so dusty. And then it was just like, my hands, I really hate that feel. I could have used gloves, but it was just like, I don't like getting my hands dirty with pastels. I use paint on my, I would use my hands in paint, not, like heavily, but I have done. But it was just like, I realized I just disliked the dust. I found that the feel was uncomfortable, and so I just put them away, and they stayed there. I didn't play around with them, and I didn't want to let them go either because of the cost. So years later, I saw an artist use them with gesso, which is one of my favourite supplies to use in my art journal. And then I thought, let me try it. And when I did, I thought, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to be using my pastels for. I mean, I might get over it, and I might, eventually decide that I'm going to start creating some pastel pictures. And as I'm saying it, I'm thinking, no, you're not. So my pastels had a new lease of life, and I now combine them with gesso in my art journal. So for some insights, which I've kind of given you some already, I'm also going to be linking additional videos, because some of my favourite supplies are jewellery pieces, and I use them with textiles. I love collecting different supplies, but I make sure that they all tie in together. I now don't just go out and say, well, I want to buy that. It's all going to have, it serves the bigger purpose. So you don't have to, especially like with the jewellery pieces, you don't have to spend a fortune. You can find jewellery at the thrift store or a charity store, or if you look, you might have some that you don't wear, so you can repurpose. The other thing I also enjoy doing is creating moulds to use in clay work. Some of the store-bought moulds can be quite expensive, but you might find, you might buy a particular piece that you think, well, I would like this. I would like to create a mold from this. You can do that. And so then you will find pieces that may be more unique to you. It might be, one of them that I created a mold from, I brought this brooch that was in the shape of a head, and I really liked it. And so I created a mold from it, and now I can use it again and again in different things and create my own embellishments. So what has your approach been to your supplies? Do you have some that are just hanging around waiting for a new home, or could you breathe new life into them? Why not combine them with other supplies and give them that new lease of life? So tomorrow I will share snippets from my Tropical Garden series, and I hope during this month that you find time to take part in a challenge, to be creative, and to stretch yourself. So why not join me each day for the rest of October as we dive into some exciting challenges and series and look at ways in which they can impact on your own life and possibly challenge what you might decide to do. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. It's never too late to start. The main thing is to take one step at a time and do something that you find interesting. Take care for now. Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. You can check me out on my blog or YouTube channel for more creative insights, videos and reviews. Stay blessed and be a blessing.